Last time we got our first taste of Transformers Prime with Predatory, watching as one Autobot, Arcee, and her human partner, Jack, had to take on a rogue Decepticon named Airachnid. I mentioned that there was a small contingent of central characters rather than the huge roster that is typical of the franchise. What I didn't mention was that the series introduced a rogue human faction into the equation, MECH. MECH is not a government operation that has gone rogue, nor is it some terrorist organization. Yes, MECH does have former military personnel, but that's all. And yes, they act with no regard for rule of law or casualties. But terrorism is a tool in service of a goal, and MECH is not pursuing a goal per se. They have aims, yes, the acquisition of advanced technology, but even that is so that they can be better equipped for when the time comes for them to engage in open warfare with the governments of the world. I realize these days people are inclined to label any non-state actors as terrorists, but I think it's important not to allow that inaccurate label to pigeonhole MECH as if they were Al-Qaeda or Cobra. They were not attempting to pressure nations like the former, and they are playing a much longer game than the latter. They may have the super tech of Cobra Commander to throw around, but they're far closer to Somali pirates when you get down to it. After an encounter with the Autobots, MECH is now all in and getting their hands on Transformers in order to unravel the secrets of their advanced technology, which is why we see them stalking one through the woods, led by Silas himself. Silas is voiced by Clancy Brown because, of course he is. It's either Clancy Brown, Michael Ironside, or Keith David voicing this kind of a character. Well, the presence of those enormous spider webs that we had just seen should make clear which Transformer is being stalked. And soon, Arachnid quickly ambushes the other three members of Silas's squad. What Silas hadn't considered was that Arachnid had lured them into a trap. She'd learned about MECH from the previous capture of the Decepticon Breakdown. She wants payback for the events of Predatory, and figures if MECH can capture Breakdown, they can help with this little problem. And she'll even let them keep Arcee once she's gotten her revenge. That's a pretty sweet deal. Not often you get that kind of a deal when you're wrapped up in a giant spiderweb. I've read The Hobbit, I know. On the good guy's side, Jack has brought Arcee home in her motorcycle form, only for his mom to be waiting in the garage. Seems that being sidekicked to a robot motorcycle has been impacting his life, and she is not happy, especially because of rumors that he's been racing that bike. She grounds him for 2 weeks, and that includes no motorcycle. It has to stay in the garage or he's busted. Arcee naturally says, "Have fun being busted. I am not sitting in this garage for 2 weeks." See, the problem is that Optimus Prime has a strict policy in place of not sharing their existence with humans further. So it's Jack and the 2 other kids, plus the members of the U.S. government that Winston reports to. Moms are not on the need-to-know list, it seems. So that means...
Mom's on her way home. If you don't race back there right now, I will be grounded for life. And Mom will make me sell you for parts.
B, can you handle it? Ratchet, I need a bridge.
The fight to save the universe is sometimes interrupted for the occasional Three's Company moment. Arcee fails to make it back in time. Mom is pissed, so Jack opts for the truth. Except his story is impossible to buy without proof, and Arcee won't provide any now that she's here. He's so damn determined and kicking the motorcycle that Mom doesn't know what to even make of this, except maybe this is a science fiction club he's in. Actually, now that I think about it, technically he is. Meanwhile, MECH has pulled out an image of Jack from Arachnid's ship's remains and searched social media for his image to learn all about him, such as the fact that he has someone who could be used as leverage. Oh man, that is the final straw. Jack is really going to get punished this time. When he gets home, there's a device in an envelope, special delivery from Jerkface. Silas calls up to say what's up and to say to bring Arcee to the coordinates programmed into the device. Oh, and they're also jamming any ability to contact the rest of the Autobots. It's just the 2 of them, or else you don't want to know what's going to happen to Mom. First, we're going to complain about how other parents let their kids stay up until midnight on a school night and drink beer. And then we're going to go to every single table in this house and leave a glass of ice water on it without a coaster. And then I'm going to get nasty. So, they arrive. Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeesh, he's a sidekick to an alien robot. He's not Spider-Man. They zoom past MECH inside part of the factory, only for Arcee to be ambushed by Arachnid. But first, it's time to play with Jack. She gives him 7 minutes to find his mom, and then they can go free. Otherwise, it's curtains. Jack pleads with Silas, but he has no pity for the kid or his mom. He actually needs Jack, in fact. He's guessing that Arachnid is going to double-cross them, and he clearly has developed enough respect for her power to just pillage Arcee for whatever parts they can take during the hunt and then take off, rather than trying to ambush the spider. I'd certainly pick something else over that last option. That lady is nuts. Mom wakes up just as Jack is running to try and rescue her and realizes that everything with the giant robots is true. When will parents learn? As Arachnid prepares to kill her in agonizing ways, MECH has removed the webbing binding Arcee because Silas wants her heart. Of course, if he wants to win her heart, he could maybe do something kinky with her. Don't be silly. No, his plan is to take his mighty drill, slip it in between her robo-boobs, and just keep working it until he's found his way into her heart. Nothing sexual about that. Alas, Arcee stops the procedure right away, so he doesn't get a chance to even bust a nut. I will not apologize for that. She hightails it out of there, so Mom gets a front row seat for when her son's motorcycle begins doing battle with a giant spider. There's a phrase I've said way too many times in my life. So they fight, and Jack helps by dumping concrete on Arachnid to slow her down in time for the cavalry to arrive. Turns out when Jack was begging Silas for help, he was actually just getting in close to steal his phone in order to contact Agent Fowler. It's enough to remove Arachnid from the picture, but not before she scans one of the helicopters to add it as an additional alt mode, and MECH vanishes like it was the Rapture. Still, one good thing, Mom understands the truth now and even gets brought to Autobot HQ to meet the gang. Although that means this place isn't cool anymore, that's a rule. Comparing Crisscross with Predatory is to compare apples and oranges, because although this is a rematch of that episode, there are wildly different circumstances here. It's not the isolated horror or backstory of Predatory. It's instead tying a number of different elements in a way to showcase how dangerous our adversaries are, and address the inevitability of the day when a parent is going to find out. Dealing with that, plus watching our villains both face off and briefly ally with one another, is a delight, as they truly are that much more deadly with both of them to complement the weaknesses of each other. And that, of course, means that the victory by the heroes is that much greater, because they had to beat 2 enemies at once. But while this has been great, the show is not called Spiders and Motorcycles. The show is about the Transformers. And so, when we next return with Transformers Prime, we're going to have a chance to see the big bosses throw down.